next year. So you're under the gun if you're going to do it. Otherwise, he's going to be an only child.
Yeah, I was an only child. Erin has a sister. So, I mean, now that I have one, I'm okay with the possibility of two. But, you know, I wasn't sure how I'd be with the possibility of one. But I'm okay with the possibility.
I wanted 3 and then I had 1.
And is that enough for you?
She's going to be 7 in a couple months. So.
Really?
That's it.
A what? A butt.
I mean, I was okay. No.
I just think it would be nice for the kid to have someone to beat up on.
Oh no, she loves being an only child. She has her cat, her dog.
Yeah.
She loves her whatever. Her friends, whatever. She's an attention hog. So.
I think you have to be if you're an only child because it comes naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's watch what you say about only children.
Oh, okay.
Well, I am one too. Are you one too? Okay, so yeah, the diva role.
I was until I was 12, so you know.
Just perfect.
I mean, I really share mothers, and you know, so we're not really.
I had an only child.
Siblings-ish.
We're siblings-ish.
Siblings-ish.
So, yeah.
I had 3 sisters.
Like, oh, you know, poor thing.
That's
I
what
could
my
along really
husband
well.
She had this thing for school, and she wanted to put, you know, something I like about myself.
One brother and
I'm an
3
only child.
sisters.
I'm like, let's think of something else.
Wasn't a bad deal.
Were you the oldest? Or you're okay. He's the youngest.
Well, then that's a little bit.
Oh, that's yeah.
That's the combination.
You guys gonna go with
four
4?
and girls in the middle.
They need sound for 4, but I don't go on until 5.
So are you doing mostly Defender stuff now?
It depends on the
Oh,
day.
right off. You're right.
Depends on the what?
The day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Take it live and it's happening.
Because I know I had seen some reports from that, and I wasn't sure if you were primarily doing that or
Yeah.
doing.
Depends on. I find out every Friday for the following week.
Really?
Are you on a wide shot?
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Do you see me?
I can see the top of your head, like right here on the corner.
Jim would like
He'll
to be
slouch.
centered, please.
I just got told.
Am I going to be in anybody's camera site video?
Going on. I'll let you know.
Oh,
Okay.
let's trash everybody. We're live on
That's why I
XYZ's website.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't like ever. My mother will text me, I saw you on TV. Great.
Oh, hi,
How can I
Lyle.
avoid
I
that?
like Lyle. I drink with her.
Oh, you're doing a good job around my camera.
Everyone loves loud.
She's nice.
Nobody needs to see the back
But
of
you
my
guys
ear.
went back
That's
to a
like
noon
huge part of my
broadcast? Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing online at 11 and then noon, or do they not do anything at 11 now?
No, they do an hour show at 11, and then they do the
Let's go ahead and take our shot.
You guys know if the booking photo will be available today?
I'd have to check with our support services staff and just make sure. I don't see why not.
Okay. Thank you.
What was the question?
If the
Booking
booking
photo?
photo would be available.
Chief, could you look forward, please?
Thank you.
Everybody ready? All right. Did everyone get a copy of the statement I'm about to read?
No.
Okay. I'm going to read a statement. This is exactly what is being handed around right now. On January 31st, 2014, at approximately 8:30 p.m., the St. Clair Shores Police Department, working with the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department, took Donna Scrivo, white female, into custody in connection with the dismemberment and removal of the body of Ramsey Scrivo, a 32-year-old male in the city of St. Clair Shores. St. Clair Shores Police Department and St. Clair County Sheriff's investigators later executed 2 search warrants within the city of St. Clair Shores. The Michigan State Police Crime Lab assisted investigators processing the residences for evidence associated with the suspected homicide and dismemberment of Ramsey Scrivo. Evidence was obtained and taken to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab in Sterling Heights for processing. A warrant request was presented to the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office for review, and the following charges were authorized: dead bodies, dismemberment, disinterment, and mutilation, a 10-year felony, and count 2, removing a dead body without medical examiner permission, a 1-year misdemeanor. Ms. Scrivo was arraigned On February 3rd, 2014, before 40th District Court Judge Mark Credicangeli, bond was set at $100,000 cash or surety. Donna Scrivo was transferred to the Macomb County Jail after arraignment. A preliminary exam is set for February 14th, 2014 at 8:30 in the morning. These charges that were brought are not the end of the case. We are still working diligently on a murder investigation at this time, and the investigation is ongoing. I want to thank the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department, the Michigan State Police, and the citizens that were instrumental in bringing this case to this point so quickly. Without great interdepartmental and citizen cooperation, we wouldn't be standing here today with a suspect in custody. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Sheriff Donnellan for some comments.
Thank you very much, Chief. And as stated, Thursday afternoon, we received the calls of the body parts that were discovered in St. Clair County, which has been reported in all of the media outlets. That in turn led us to St. Clair Shores, and we've worked in conjunction and partnership with the St. Clair Shores Police Department as well as the Michigan State Police Forensic Crime Unit. Outstanding example of interdepartment collaboration. And with me is Detective Steve Brickert. He is our lead investigator from the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office that's working in partnership.
We were told is this a good time for some questions? We were told the autopsy was complete. Is that so? And if it is, can you share any information about the results of the autopsy?
It's not complete. We're still waiting for some test results to come back.
That's Detective Sergeant Jay Coho, St. Clair Shores Police Department.
Is that why there's no murder charge at this time? Can somebody just explain? That's, I think, the biggest void that a lot of us have.
Well, obviously this is a murder investigation at this time, homicide investigation. When the suspect was taken into custody, a clock started, a 72-hour clock, where she had to be brought before a judge on arraignment before we could hold her any further. At this point, all we can prove is the dead body's disinterment, mutilation, and the removing of a dead body without medical examiner's permission. That's what we can prove at this point. It's still an ongoing investigation, and we plan to bring more charges later, but we can only charge what we can prove, and that's what we can prove.
Do you have any belief that others may be involved in his death?
I'm not going to speculate on that at this time.
Chief, can you say if the woman in the photos that were released on Friday, that you believe that is the suspect?
Well, those were your photos?
Yes, those were our photos, and that is the same woman that was arraigned this afternoon. Correct.
Have all the body parts been found? We're hearing that there may be a limb that still has not been recovered.
You know, with the ongoing investigation and waiting for toxicology reports and more information from Dr. Spitz, we're not going to comment anymore on the specifics of what has been recovered and what hasn't.
Would it be a fair statement, Sheriff, to say that he has not been able to establish cause of death, and if it is toxicology, is that something that might take weeks?
You know, I just can't comment on the cause and manner. That is entirely the medical examiner's call at this point, so I just couldn't comment.
But has he established cause of death?
Not at this time. He's not. We need to wait for additional tests.
Have you been able to determine what was used in the discomfort?
We're not going to comment on that part right now.
Have you been able to determine a time of death?
That has not been determined as of yet.
There was some mention at the hearing about some blood evidence. I just wanted to double check that was blood evidence in his home, and then the victim's blood in the Blazer. That was the vehicle that she was driving, correct?
There has been some evidence that's been recovered. We're not going to go into a lot of details. That any sort of evidence like that is being right now analyzed by the Michigan State Police Crime Lab.
What's her past criminal history?
No, I don't believe that's relevant in this case. I mean, the one history she did have was a retail fraud.
And do you know when that was?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
We've had conflicting information that she lawyered up and didn't speak, but then when she was in court, she didn't have an attorney. Has she cooperated? Has she done an interview either in St. Clair County or here in the city?
We can't go into any details as far as the interview. Obviously, she has a right to a lawyer, and she's looking to try to get one. If not, Judge Credicangeli made it clear that there would one be appointed for her.
Can you talk to us about the relationship between the mother and son? Were police familiar or aware of any problems between the mother and her son before this incident or before she filed the missing persons report?
There's never been any assaultive history regarding both between the two parties. So from that perspective, no. I mean, we've had police contacts, but not regarding to anything between those two.
What police contact between the two of them, or in like disputes at the house?
Think, you know, just some disorderly complaints, loud noise, that type of thing.
Who's making the complaints?
I have no idea.
At which house?
Yeah.
Gary Lane? or-
Gary Lane.
So someone was filing a complaint about noise coming from their household?
This is when you ask me the history. I'm just telling you, there's been reports, and those are the type of reports we've had.
But I mean, they're not, mother's not complaining against son. Okay.
Do you have any information about her being his guardian or anything along those lines?
It's his mother.
But there was some sort of court petition for guardianship and mental illness and hospitalization, things like that.
I don't believe that had to do with guardianship. He was functioning, that with the residence on Gary Lane was his residence. The mother moved in with him during repairs to her residence. So he's cognitive enough that he takes care of himself. He had a business at some point in time. There's no indication of guardianship type being filed.
But do you know if he suffers from some sort of mental disability or something?
I'm not authorized to say that.
I think what Robin's asking, and maybe it's just because of some court records that were posted on the Macomb County site, but it looked like at least there were a few different instances in 2013 where the mother was trying to gain some sort of control over her son, maybe by going to court to try to take over some part of guardianship or to get him into some sort of a facility, a mental facility. I think those are maybe some of the documents that she's referring to.
And again, I'm not going to be able to comment on that. I think it has to do with some other family issues. But that's about it.
His father passed away in May of last year, is that right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Is that a factor in any of this at all? Did that start things going downhill for this family?
From what I understand, it did have obviously a negative impact on the family.
And without saying, as you put together your theory in this case, backed by physical and other evidence, have you established a motive in this?
I'm not able to comment on it at this time.
Even a yes or no answer?
Not at this time.
Can you tell us anything else about the mother's background, what she did for a living, if she was working?
Apparently, at some point in time, she was a nurse.
Do you know if she was doing that currently or?
That's to be determined. Still looking into that.
Can you talk to us about the appearance of the home, the son's home? I guess once you made your way inside it, they mentioned in court either finding bleach or having some testing done where they were able to determine that bleach was in the home. I mean, did everything appear normal visually, or how would you describe the inside of the home?
Yeah, visually everything seemed normal. Anything else I really can't comment on.
This missing persons report too, when she came in to file that or made the phone call to file it, was this something that police then worked maybe 24 or 48 hours after to kind of get that information out to media, or was anybody suspicious of her claims or concerns immediately?
I'm not going to comment on that right now either. I apologize.
Sheriff, last week you couldn't talk about Friday in detail of how many bags specifically, etc. I mean, are you able to put a little clarity in regard to, was it 4, was it 5, and just repeat that?
Could you step up over here to the police, Sheriff?
I can, and we would not refer to them as bags. We are going to refer to this as scenes because each one is a specific crime scene. No changes from Friday morning. There were 3 scenes on Arlington Road, which is in China Township. There was one, it's right on the border of 2 townships, I apologize. There were 3 scenes on Arlington Road in St. Clair Township. There was 1 scene on Friday, this is on Friday, on Fredmore Highway, which is on China Township. Later, Friday morning, there was the 5th scene, which was on the entrance ramp to I-94. So 5 scenes. 4 were initially on the Thursday evening into Friday morning, and then the 5th was about almost 5 a.m. Friday morning.
But how many bags were there?
Well, I don't have the number of bags, and
Is it more than 5?
Really not going to comment on that. It's
That's-
five scenes.
Have you been able to determine what the charred paperwork was inside one of the bags?
We're not going to comment on that right now.
Have you recovered a murder weapon?
We're not going to comment on that. As I said before, I understand the need for the information as well because of the uniqueness of this case. However, as we've indicated before, it's an ongoing investigation. We still have a lot of work to do to put things together, and we just appreciate your patience at this time. As far as detailed evidence, we're not going to be able to provide that at this time. When we're in a position that we can do so, after we talk to the prosecutor's office, we'll deal with it then. But right now, we still have a lot of work to do, and like I said, appreciate your guys' patience.
Well, do you anticipate any further charges this week?
I can't put a timeline. We're waiting for a lot of different tests and that sort of thing, as well as some other work we need to do. I wouldn't want to put a time frame on anything.
There was some mention in the court records about him possibly being suicidal after his father passed. Are you guys, is it possible that may have...
We're not going to comment on that.
Okay, you guys are treating this as a homicide, though?
We're treating that as suspicious death right now.
Can you comment where the blood evidence was found in the home?
Not at this time, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you just threw me for a loop because I thought all along the sheriff said that this was a homicide investigation. You're kind of downgrading it
Not
to
at all.
suspicious death?
I'm minimizing it, and part of it is just trying to be a little bit guarded at this time. Like I said, we have a lot of work to do and a lot of things to put together.
We're on the same sheet of music. It's kind of splitting hairs. Obviously, if you have a dismembered body that shows up, it's not going to be a natural death. So, but we're absolutely on the same sheet of music. It's just a matter of how it's interpreted.
I believe I heard in court that she had made an admission that she was in the area in St. Clair County, if I heard that correctly, before the discovery. Is there anything else you can expand on that in terms of...
Not at this time, I apologize.
The judge ordered a psychiatric evaluation. Do you guys have any reason to believe she's doing anything in your custody that made you wonder about that?
I think part of that has to do with the nature of the offense, and a lot of times it can be standard procedure for a lot of the judges.
Drug and alcohol testing is also ordered. Do you know
That's
the frequency?
common with the 40th District Court judges. That's very common. And
Do you
I
know
believe
the frequency of the testing?
that's determined by, I believe, community corrections or court itself. I don't recall the specifics.
Okay, so we don't even know what type of testing. Like, is it breathalyzer?
Our judges typically do a drug and alcohol test on most all of their bonds like this.
Let me ask the question this way: the cause of death. What's the medical examiner's spit saying? Has he given a preliminary indication that cause of death is not clear? It's undetermined. Toxicology. Is he suggesting there might have been some sort of a poisoning before the dismemberment? I mean,
he's not comfortable making any positive determination until a lot of other tests are run and he receives those results.
And is there a possibility that you may not establish a cause of death and may not get a murder charge in this case?
Anything's possible. At this point, we charged what we could prove, and we're working to prove the rest of the case.
Are you able to say in terms of the cause, I know you can't say a lot, but I mean, can say if there was a bullet wound found or
No, we're not.
No other trauma?
Trauma.
We're not able to comment on that right now.
Well, I know you guys don't want to say, if there's other body parts missing, but, shouldn't you say something if some kid finds a bag on the side of the road? You don't want a kid finding an arm or a head or something.
Yeah, well, obviously, we're still looking for evidence. As the deputy chief and the sheriff said, this has been an investigation with cooperation, obviously, between the law enforcement, but also the citizens in that area that observed some things, which was vital to this investigation. They were able to help us as far as with a timeline on things. Their input in this was very, very valuable and very much appreciated, obviously by the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department and obviously, now that we're involved, St. Clair Shores Police Department.
Can you speak to the dumping? Because, I mean, we were talking just informally, you know, if I killed somebody, I'd probably throw him in the lake in the middle of the night. The fact that she did this in the middle of the day in front of everybody, do you take anything from that? Does it speak to her psychological condition?
Now you're asking for conjecture and us trying to get inside the head of somebody that did something obviously none of us in this room would do, and that's not something that can be done. We've got time for 2 more questions.
Can you guys say at this point that you believe that she killed her son? I know she's not charged at this point, but is that what you believe?
We're not comfortable in making that call right now. We presented the evidence that we have, that we're comfortable with this at this time. It was presented to the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office. They made their determination as far as the charges right now. This is an ongoing investigation, and as I've said before, we've got a lot of work.
Any more?
Is she in St. Clair Shores or in the county jail?
Macomb County Jail at this time.
When did she get moved?
After her arraignment.
Okay, but because she came in county guard.
Correct. She was actually transferred to Macomb County. We don't really have facilities for females over a long-term period.
Right.
So she was transferred up to Macomb, and then we brought her back down to Macomb. And subsequent following her arraignment, she was transferred back up.
And just one final question on St. Clair County. Are there any charges that are going to be filed against her in St. Clair County?
You know, as this investigation proceeds, there's possibilities, but again, it's early on, and at this point, we're just going to let the investigation continue, and we'll see what comes of that.
Is she under suicide watch?
You'd have to ask the Macomb County Jail for that.
Okay, thanks.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm sorry again. Like I said, we have a lot of work.
TODD?
Detective Sergeant J. Colo, C-O-H-O-E.